All right, let's dive right into a really pivotal moment for the Unification Church. We're talking about a prayer, but not just any prayer. This one was delivered by Reverend Sun Myung Moon right at the stroke of midnight on January 1st, 1981. And we're not just going to read it. Oh no, we're going to deconstruct it as a masterclass in strategic communication, something that framed the past and literally set the course for a global movement for an entire decade. This right here, this was the banner, the motto for the entire 1980s. With these 7 words, Reverend Moon set the theme for the next 10 years. It's such a bold, powerful, declarative statement. But to really get why it landed with such impact, you have to understand the story it was the climax of. And that's really the big question we're tackling in this explainer. What was the strategy behind this motto? I mean, why this exact phrase at this precise moment? Well, the cool thing is, the prayer itself gives us the answers by laying out this incredibly clear narrative arc. So to understand the solution, which is that new motto, we first have to go back and look at the historical problem it was designed to solve. The prayer kicks off by looking backward, and honestly, it paints a picture of deep disappointment. Now, this is where it gets really specific. The prayer points fingers at 2 major entities. Reverend Moon talks about the sad results of history that happened because, from his perspective, both American Christianity and the entire nation of Korea had failed. They hadn't fulfilled their God-given responsibilities. This failure sets the stage for a period of, well, major correction. Okay, so after laying out this problem, this history of failure, the prayer moves into the next part of the story, the long, difficult struggle that was needed to make things right. And we're not talking about a quick fix here. This was framed as a generational effort of sacrifice. And the key term you absolutely have to understand here is indemnify. In this context, it basically means to pay a spiritual price, to make amends for those past failures through a really dedicated, difficult course of action. Grasping this one concept is crucial because it's the engine that drives the logic of the entire proclamation. And this timeline just lays it out perfectly. The prayer specifically talks about 3 7-year courses that started all the way back in 1960. You do the math, that's a 21-year period of struggle, all designed to indemnify, to pay back the failures of the past. And look where it ends, right on the doorstep of 1981, positioning that moment as the finish line of one long, hard chapter and the start of something totally new. And now we get to the climax of the story. After setting out the problem and detailing the long struggle, the prayer finally delivers the solution. It frames the 1980s not just as another decade, but as a victorious new era, earned through sacrifice. And boom, here is that solution, presented again. See, this motto isn't just a suggestion or a nice idea. It's declared as the triumphant result of that entire 21-year struggle. It's the victory flag that the movement is going to march under, having finally overcome the failures of the past. So you have to be asking, what is home church exactly? Well, according to the logic of the prayer, it's the mission. It is the core activity, the practical, hands-on job for every single follower. It was the mechanism for them to build their own personal kingdom of heaven, and by doing that, contribute to the larger victory. And make no mistake, this proclamation wasn't just for the people who happened to be in the room that night. It was a global mandate delivered with a massive international audience in mind. The prayer itself reveals just how big the scale of this new mission really was. To really get a feel for the energy of this moment, just think about this detail. The prayer was delivered in front of 843 couples who had just been matched by Reverend Moon the night before. This wasn't some theoretical speech. It was a launch event for a huge, highly committed, organized group ready to get their marching orders. And the intended audience was enormous. In the prayer, Moon specifically mentions his followers scattered throughout 127 different countries. So this message, this new mission, was designed from the ground up to be broadcast and activated on a global scale, all at once. The prayer then lays out a super clear pledge for the decade. Followers were called to be representative families, right on the front lines, and to stay faithful and devoted for 10 straight years. They were tasked with getting this mission done even under tough circumstances, and to keep marching forward with hope in what the prayer calls a confusing world. And finally, for some important context, the prayer closes in the name of the true parents. This is the title used within the movement for Reverend Moon and his wife, Hak Jahan Moon. It signifies the spiritual authority and the standing from which this global directive was being issued. So, when you take a step back and look at the whole thing, you see it's so much more than a prayer. It's a complete narrative. It is a brilliant piece of strategic communication that defines a problem, recounts a long struggle to fix it, and then presents a clear, victorious solution that would guide the actions of a global community for an entire decade.
And that kind of leaves us with a final thought. If you look beyond the specifics of this one event, it's just a powerful case study in leadership and communication. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How can a single focused message, when delivered at just the right pivotal moment, actually shape the direction of a global movement for 10 years?